Hey everybody, we got Modern Day Bible Study in the YouTube chat. We got Saltu Paul. How's it going, everybody? We are just about to get started. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Sent out the text message. Here we are on a Wednesday. This is an early show for us. How does that feel? Feels good to me. Gonna actually get done before it's dark outside. Got Estimating One, Discovering Three, Sandra Kippert. What's up? Let's see. Nobody chatting over on the Rumble yet. How's it going, Rumble? Are you there? Are you there? Check one. Got Marcy T. Dadalorian. Okay, we're doing it. We are doing it. Let's see here. Reminders, as always. I'd suggest, if you haven't done it yet, go join our newsletter. Go to canarycry.party. Canarycry.party. You'll find a button to join the newsletter. That's a pretty good idea because we send out a little alert before each show. But you also get all the art, you get all the sources right there in your email box. It's a great way to create a network of people who are holding in their hand the sources for the show, not just so you can follow along, but when you inevitably get into conversations with people in your life regarding some of the things we talk about, you will have mainstream corporate news articles that they will trust, that will help you in your conversation on your side. You know, we could throw in blogs and natural news and all these outlets that normies don't trust, but that's not going to help you in your conversation. But if you can bring them an article from their beloved CNN that is making a case for, I don't know, the being skeptical about big pharma, not trusting your government authorities with every area of your life. Those are the things that will change the perception for the normies in your life. So go sign up for the newsletter at canarycry.party. While you're there, you can join the text message alert system that we send out a little text message right before each show as well, so you never miss one. And you can do that by texting the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. And last but not least, you can head on over to canarycrynewstalk.com, canarycrynewstalk.com, and click on the green tab that's on the bottom or the right-hand side. When you click on that, you will be able to leave us a voicemail. You can leave us a voicemail to be played on the show. You can give shout outs to your friends, your family, ask us questions, do whatever you want. But you can also leave a pre-show prayer. And that pre-show prayer will play, pre-show. That's right. We have a pre-show prayer today from a producer, so we're going to start that out in a second. It's a great way to spiritually produce the show. Everybody can produce the show in one way or another. Your time, your treasure, your talent, or with, I can't think of a T word that refers to prayer, but you get the point. So go do that. In fact, we got one right now. Let's get into it and start the show.
Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Thank you for cleansing us with the blood of the Son, the sinless blood. Lead us to a place so far beyond our fallings that we can escape even the echo of the sin. When the time's right, your timing is perfect. Thy will be done. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is August 9th, 2023. We are live to tape on episode 653. And today, it's the 7-foot sky skater, And signing on from off the grid, you're not crazy, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gans, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomena is the counterfeit ledger of life. Now, Age of Deceit 4, the subtitle is Eschaton Cipher and the Counterfeit Ledger of Life. I'm talking about the Book of Life and the counterfeit Book of Life, which seems to be the surveillance apparatus that is going to be capturing every molecule as time goes on. But yeah, we're on the road to the counterfeit ledger of life. And I don't know, it just seems to explain all the stories for today in one way or another.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you talk about the ledger of life or the book of life, and it's very sort of religious and Christian, and normal people, they will be so apt to ignore or even mock such a concept. But when the concept starts to present itself in sort of a counterfeit, technocratic, utopian way, suddenly it sounds like a pretty good deal. And isn't that just how it's supposed to go? Well, Gans, we are here. We made it. Thank you, everybody, for your patience with last episode. Today, we are doing our best to fit the show into life. It continues to be a crazy summer, but we're happy to be here. Let's see here. We got people on Rumble. We got people on YouTube. We got people on DLive. We got people all over the internet. But unfortunately, we need to give this disclaimer.
Yes.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right. Let me give you a rundown, guys.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Starting out with the news of the day, aliens in Peru. That's right, and if you've been on the internet at all in the past couple days, you will know the aliens are here, and they are skateboarding in Peru. It's awesome. We'll be breaking down some of the footage and those narratives behind that, and use it as an opportunity to touch on topics. Again, the sort of, we've got a wonderful breakdown on whether the UFO phenomenon is a psyop or not by The Hill, and what that means for our government. And then, of course, a little bit of a Bible explainer from Fox News. Woo! We'll be touching in with FLIPPY. FLIPPY, our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms. You know the ones. And you might be wondering, how exactly will they take over the country? Will it be from coast to coast, or will it be from the inside out? Well, we'll give you a clue about that. In the middle of the show here, we're checking out some climate change. Antarctica in the middle of the show. What? Yes, it's becoming that big of a deal. And I will be giving my rendition of the eco-terrorism phenomenon that's been going on, especially recently. Then at the end of the show, we'll be looking for the Loch Ness Monster, and we hope you do too.
All right. You're good. You're done. You're clean.
I'm done.
Okay. I'm not ready for you
did
to
it.
be done, but yeah, you did it. You did great. All right.
Did it.
Let's start with our lead stories.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified. Aliens. Aliens. Aliens.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
Psyops. Were made by the aliens.
Well, the alien conversation just continues to roll out into mainstream popular media and culture. And of course, we've had the hearings, which brought the conversation of whistleblowers coming out and discussing non-human biologics recovered in crafts of alleged extraterrestrial origin, and the government's been covering it up. And there's so many layers to this, and I've noticed that people are putting their stakes down on certain angles or certain narratives. And I think our job here is to be as on the narrow path as possible when it comes to this topic, because there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of claims, but it all involves some of the most, probably, the most cosmic topic that one can encounter, which is, do other intelligent entities exist? To which, if you phrase it in that specific term, then biblically the answer is yes. But, it depends on the kind of experiences people have when they come in contact with the other side, so to speak. And in this case, this is coming from Yahoo.com, mirroring Vibe. And the headline: Peruvian villagers claim they were attacked by Predator-style aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Make Predator a fiction again.
Cool.
Peruvian villagers. By the way, wasn't Predators brought up in the WorldCoin thing because of the 3 dots? You know how in Predator, when the guy, the alien guy aims, he's got the 3 dots?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, anyway. Peruvian villagers claim to have been attacked by Predator-style aliens, the U.S. Sun reports. Members of the Iquitu indigenous people in rural Alto Nene claim to have seen the beast after it attacked a 15-year-old girl. The native people alleged that the mysterious creature, quote, slashed across her neck, across the neck, which required heavy medical attention. Hunters from the tribe claimed to have, quote, fired at the armored beings. Armored beings. Interesting. However, they soon discovered that the creatures are, quote, immune to human weapons, end quote.
Uh-oh.
Yep. The native people reportedly saw one of these 7-foot beasts disappear and reemerge on the spot. The Iquitu people have detailed that they may be aliens from another planet, while other citizens believe the creatures to be folklore monsters. I mean, at this point, those worlds are coming together, are they not? With what the government's saying and what people are experiencing and how it's being reported. But anyway, the outlet reports that the predators could be, quote, drones covered with cloth and masks to scare the locals by illegal miners in a Scooby-Doo style scheme, end quote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
who said this? Whose quote is this?
The outlet. So I guess it's the Sun, the American Sun outlet, which I don't know how credible that is. It's funny how it does the whole Smith Munn thing, except it's doing it with like just offbeat platforms, where with Smith Munn you take Indian outlets and then America reports on what the Indians reported, and that becomes news. Whereas in this case, they just take like a third party or just like a little offbeat rag, and then somebody talks about it, and then Yahoo talks about it, and then it just slowly creeps into the mainstream. Interesting to watch. But anyway, yeah, a lot of theories. Yario Ratugui Avila, one of the community leaders, spoke about the strange occurrence and described them akin to Spider-Man's nemesis, the Green Goblin. And there's video here. This particular video that is in the article is like a slowed down version of it, and it's blurry and it's not great. I don't even think it's worth really watching. But let me just read a little bit more here. Quote, these gentlemen are aliens. They seem armored like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. I have shot him twice, and he does not fall, but rises and disappears. We are frightened by what is happening in the community, end quote, said the community leader. Quote, their color is silver, their shoes are round in shape, and with that, they rise up. They float 1 meter high and have a red light on the heel. Their heads are long, and their eyes are yellowish. With that, they see you well, and they leave. They are experts at escaping, end quote. You have any thoughts, Basil, on this creature that these people are seeing?
Is this the same Peruvian aliens that are like the mantis creatures? The one that the video shows that they're on the roof and stuff? Because I was watching some Peruvian aliens yesterday, And they were claiming they were sort of mantis creatures that were green.
They were green.
And had the big black eyes. Yeah, okay.
They were green. Maybe they're green on video, but on up close, they're silver.
Oh, well, okay. I believe it. Sure. I mean, I guess a little drone. They didn't say anything about noises that these aliens are making, huh?
No noises. Although I will say, when I watched the footage, it looked more like a hologram kind of thing going on. Like the way it moved. Now, it's hard to tell.
Oh, sorry, I'm not watching. Are you playing footage? Is this the one where the alien is on the roof?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did see that. Huh. I mean, the timing is pretty incredible. This certainly would be the most, I don't know, comprehensive alien claims, alien footage, the most interactive, I guess. They're having like a battle. I did see some other stills or screenshots from allegedly Peruvian people getting attacked by these aliens. These aliens, they don't seem to be quite the peaceful grays talking telepathly and
the peaceful ones are the Nordics. The grays are supposed to be pretty mean, aren't they? I don't know. It depends on who you talk to, I guess.
No, I don't know. But these predator ones is pretty serious. Okay, so what is this? A day or two old? This Peruvian situation?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, maybe we need to send Jake Sullivan down there to negotiate some sort of peace deal.
There you go. Let me get back to the article here. There's a couple more quotes of note. I like the fact that this entity has some kind of like hover shoe situation going on, like not a hoverboard, but maybe like I don't know, like sky skates. You know?
Yeah, this is really unique. It's a really unique claim. I mean, this does sound more like a Scooby-Doo episode than it does an actual alien sighting, but okay.
Another witness to the action detailed that the beasts conceal their identities and can fly. Quote, they don't let their faces be seen and their body is floating. They use their arms as balance when flying, but they walk normally. Every time we arrive, they fly with an activation of something on the soles of their feet. They have wheels wheels with lights. So that obviously, I'm thinking of Ezekiel, wheel within a wheel. Is it a similar technology, except it's not like a huge throne? It's more just like shoes, Ezekiel shoes or something.
Sure.
I mean, but very specific, right? It's kind of weird how specific the claims are, like what these people saw. And maybe they're mistaken. I mean, could be, of course, it could be mistaken, but it's just weird. It sounds kind of technological.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about, I'm trying to put this report in the context of, sort of the Great Deception, alien disclosure type of thing. And I am having a hard time finding some sort of reason for this. I'm trying to figure out, how this works into the narrative that's being crafted in Washington right now. How does this work? I mean, I guess what's different about this particular sighting or incident is that the aliens are violent. It's very rare that you hear of an alien sighting where they're particularly violent. Usually they're either running away or they are, speaking telepathically and telling people not to be afraid of them.
This one's like, be afraid.
Type of situation. Yeah, this one is like, I'm here to hurt you very badly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I can't really, my mind is kind of glitching out trying to fit this into the narrative that's been presented to us.
Well, it's probably going to fit into one or the other, the two sides that exist in the conversation here, or I guess there's multiple sides, but there's this whole disclosure is a Psyop side, which is, everybody has a kind of a nuanced take on that. So the people that are saying that, no, there's no Psyop, on the other side, I don't know. I don't know that they might be building some straw men, and I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but there's what I've noticed is there's a misunderstanding in the details of the conversation when it comes to that. But to that point, I think the idea of it doesn't even matter the violence or, the activity of the aliens. The fact that we have non-biologic or what was it? Yeah, non-human biologic in the conversation culturally, allows for these types of news stories to get picked up more in the mainstream to kind of keep that story going, the non-human biologic story going, which now there's a higher peaked interest from the general public. Now you have, people just kind of reporting more on supernatural or perceived paranormal types of events like this, or cryptid events. But this is something I brought up, I think, a couple episodes ago. But one of the theories that Dr. Mike Heiser had, which I think is pretty spot on, concerning the Roswell crash in the 1940s, is that part of his take is that the reason why Roswell crash caused a huge explosion of UFO and alien culture, like talks about the government cover-up and all that, similar to now. But, making that central, making it part of like Hollywood films and everything else, is to cover up the fact that we just finished World War II and we just brought in a bunch of Nazi scientists to head our space program. And so if there's a mistake or something crashes and people see it, you can't say, the Nazi scientists are trying some crazy stuff and they messed up, because then it's like, oh, why is this guy in our country doing top level science? And so aliens is a much better distraction because everyone starts talking about aliens, right? So I thought that was a good take, and I think some of the evidence suggests that that kind of thing was going on, a post paperclip psyop to cover up certain things the government was doing. So if we apply that sort of thinking to today and this situation now, which ironically too, during the Roswell crash, what was one of the things that they talked about during the crash was, it was a weather balloon. Remember that?
Yeah.
And of course, this year, if you think about it, we had the spy balloon. We had the weather balloon, spy balloon phenomena. So there's some weird references back to the historical Roswell event. And if you can see that event as, okay, maybe this was not just an alien, and all these different things that people have talked about and made a lot of money on it too, like writing books and movies, and it's a whole subculture, both fiction and nonfiction. So anyway,
the thing that catches me by surprise about the Peruvian incidences recently is just the amount of footage. Now, most of the footage is nighttime Peruvian cell phone footage, so it's very blurry. It's mostly you're watching people run around and scream. But what makes it different here is you've got crowds of people sort of running around in the middle of the night trying to fight these aliens or chase them down or something. This isn't one guy who was standing in a field who's trying to tell his story or something like that. You've kind of got like full villages in on, if it is some sort of planned psyop theater, you've got 30, 40 people getting together on multiple nights to kind of put the show on. So it is definitely unique. And then there's footage of people who have allegedly been attacked by these things, getting dragged around, being given medical treatment, things like this. It definitely is sort of a step up in the in the amount of evidence, at least. And then there's a few little shots of where they claim the alien is, on a roof or up in a tree or something. And between the shaky cell phone footage and some
the shaky
dinky little flashlights
or
whatever.
The flashlight, to me, it looks kind of like there's just the flashlight is hitting a tree with some leaves on it or something. And it can look like an alien.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
I mean, think of not the messaging, but like the method of that. If it literally was just, some branches on a tree filmed in a Peruvian village, and that goes mainstream in America as 7-foot flying giant aliens attacking people in the Peruvian village.
Right. One thing I think is notable. One thing that I think that's notable about the reporting of this is so many references to pop culture. You know, they've got references to the Green Goblin. They've got references to Scooby-Doo. They've got references to Predator. You know, it's just the entire story is being told through pop culture references, which is exactly the point of predictive programming. I mean, you know, we've talked about predictive programming for a very long time, and it's been a big topic of conversation on all the sort of fringy podcasts and stuff. And this is a good example of predictive programming being a narrative building device that can be used by the media to immediately sort of trigger and trigger the feelings of people reading it, giving them an idea of the vision that they should build in their mind based off of decades and decades of pop culture, you know, kind of creating the narrative about killer aliens that are coming to terrorize a Peruvian village, and in a very unique way. I mean, the technological aspect of this is a very unique and probably the most suspicious part about it, because you always hear aliens are, well, naked and, you know, kind of slow moving and kind of skittish. And suddenly we have some like robotic, cyborg, tech heavy warriors showing up. Hey, who knows? Maybe the bad guys finally showed up and the good aliens need to fight them. You know, I'm not saying I believe that. I'm saying that could be some next step narrative crafting as this goes on.
Yeah, and you had a Hill article, just, you know, to touch on this point about the Psyop and what is actually taking place here. You know, it's fascinating to consider the amount of culture. I got my hair cut yesterday. My hair's cut, to be more specific.
Wow.
And she's the same lady that's been cutting my hair for a long time, and she was like, "What's up with the UFOs?" And I was like, "I know, the congressional hearing." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "The congressional hearing? Is that what you're talking about?" She's like, "No, we were all outside yesterday. We were seeing this weird stuff in the sky, and there's blah, blah, blah." And it turned out, I think it was SpaceX or Starlink, but that's kind of the point, which is what I thought was interesting. I didn't say anything about it, but afterwards I was thinking, like, a lot of people aren't used to seeing things happen up there, like other than airplanes and maybe some, you know, fireworks and stuff like that. But at any time, it's startling to see SpaceX do things. I've seen their rocket launch and the big old spiral in the air, and it's like, what is going on? It kind of freaks you out. So I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how everybody is, it goes back to the movies, the fear factor, all the emotions that were programmed in from all those movies, all those TV shows is coming to the surface when real news outlet stories covers various parts of the UFO thing. Disclosure.
And speaking of which, just real quick, the Hill article, it's really summed up in one paragraph. And I thought it was the most sober-minded, logical, and fairly impressive take on the whole UFO situation right now. The headline was, "A monumental UFO scandal is looming." No kidding. And they wrap it up in a couple sentences here. "The decades-long saga of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, is barreling headlong towards one of two stunning conclusions. Either the U.S. government has mounted an extraordinary decades-long cover-up of UFO retrieval and reverse engineering activities, or elements of the defense and intelligence establishments are engaging in a staggeringly brazen psychological disinformation campaign." And that's kind of what this comes down to. And it's hilarious to see written in the mainstream media. You know, usually you're seeing these mainstream outlets play along with one side or the other. Either they're skeptical and they're saying, you know, this is these guys are lying because they want attention, or it's true. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned to CNN. But the Hill is just like, look, it comes down to two options. Either there's been UFOs and the government's been hiding it for decades, or the defense and intelligence establishment, DOD, CIA, FBI, whoever, is perpetrating a psychological disinformation campaign. Those are your two options. Either UFOs exist or the government is purposefully lying to you for some reason. And they write about 100 paragraphs about this, but it really goes down to those two options, which I thought was surprisingly sober-minded for a mainstream outlet.
Yeah, you're right, for a mainstream outlet. But I do have an issue with creating a similar one or the other type of false dichotomy, because if you're doing a cover-up, then naturally you are doing some kind of psychological disinformation campaign to, sort of get away from the fact that people, or try to keep people from learning about the cover-up. So I don't know. I have to map it out to understand the.
Well, the reason you might need to gather your thoughts on that a little bit, but the point that I'm saying is this is the one time where I don't think it is a false dichotomy. The real false dichotomy, I believe, is do aliens exist or are these guys lying? Because both could exist. Both they could lie and aliens could exist. That would be a version of the cover-up. But if it's this puts the target of the conversation is not do UFOs exist or not. This target of the conversation that The Hill has presented is the government lying to you or not? And the answer that is inevitably brought to is yes. That's why I like it, because it's not
yes for both.
Is the government lying or is the government not lying? The two options are, is the government lying or is the government lying? And I think that's the truest form of the two options that are being presented to us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I like your take. I like this guy's take. It's just falls a little flat for me. I don't know. It doesn't really
Well, it's
capture.
not supposed to be exciting. It's not supposed to be. That's the whole thing about it, is it's not sort of
captivating or compelling.
It's not really compelling. It's not really big and flashy. It's not a big take your side. Are aliens real or not? That's not even the question. The question inevitably leads to the government is lying. Hey, everybody. The government lies to you. That's the only answer to come to. And for The Hill, I mean, that's a pretty good. It's a pretty noble place to lead your readers.
Sure. Well, yeah, that sort of is the movement. I believe the distrust in institutions and governments all-time high, and I believe they will take advantage of that to whatever end they're looking for. Now, one person who, a colleague of ours, a friend, who has taken sides to this issue, Basil, I mean, you can even call it a false dichotomy if the conclusions are the same, in a sense. But Tim Alberino, our friend Tim Alberino, we love Tim, tweeted out today, "Rest in peace, R.I.P. Psyop narrative."
Ooh.
Yeah, they're taking sides. And he retweeted Richard Geldrick, who said, the quote, "This is a psyop crowd's narrative is dead. Whoever leaked Grush's medical records to discredit him just killed it. Now we know he's an actual whistleblower." So I looked at that and I went, what is the most effective way to get a bunch of truthers to follow somebody or some lead is to turn them into a martyr.
Make it look like the government is
trying to discredit him. Yeah.
So create the Hegelian dialectic authority versus whistleblower narrative.
Yeah. So I saw that, and that's maybe why I'm kind of a little bit less excited about that dichotomy, because I see people taking sides to it, and again, I don't think either side fully grasps what the other side is saying. But, you're right that the conclusion ultimately is that the government lies. Like, we know that. Like, if they've been covering it up for a long time, yes, they've been lying. If they are simply rolling out a disinformation campaign, then yes, they are lying. But I hope we realize that by now, and we can sort of look at more of the details. But I don't know. What do you think? People saying the
psyop danger
narrative?
of yeah. This you're talking about. Tim Alberino is arguing that this guy David Grush is not a psyop. That's the argument?
His testimony is not part of the psyop. Which, sure, I mean, as I've said, I think Grush's testimony can be totally true, but a lot of it was, he prefaced a lot of his stuff with what I've been told. This is what I've been told. So it's
right.
Secondhand.
I'm going. Do you know what his health records? So I don't know if this was clear. Somebody released his health records. Yeah. Leaked his health records, and this is being used as. Do you know what his health records contained? Was there something in there that made people question his sanity or something?
Yes, it had to do with mental health struggles of U.S. Military intelligence personnel. I think there was this was the immediate release. Oh, right, he was on Chris Cuomo. That was the other part of this. He was on Chris Cuomo to clear all this up on News Nation. And this is his statement. The mental health struggles of U.S. military intelligence community personnel is a broad issue that is very close to my heart, and I believe it should be discussed in an open environment due to the stigmas associated with the subject. It has come to my attention that The Intercept intends to publish an article about 2 incidents in 2014 and 2018 that highlights previous personal struggles I had with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, grief, and depression. Like many veterans, I struggled after returning home from Afghanistan. Furthermore, I was personally affected again years later when a close friend of mine, an intelligence officer who was serving in Air Force Special Operations Command at the time, took his own life shortly after we last spoke. I'm proud to be transparent on this matter, and I'm glad I got the help I needed to continue my intelligence career and maintain my TS, I think that's top secret, and SCI clearance with multiple agencies. As I stated under oath in my congressional testimony, over 40 credentialed intelligence and military personnel provided myself and my colleagues the information I transmitted to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and I took the leadership role to represent the concerns of these distinguished and patriotic individuals. These are not solely my allegations, but rather multiple individuals that put their careers and reputations on the line to report their concerns of activities outside of a congressional oversight. So that's the statement coming from Grush post his personal medical information being released.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the attempt was to make him sound mentally unstable, so he's making stuff up. Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is the government lying or is the government lying? I don't know if I could possibly give you the answer, folks, and the mystery will continue.
Well, somebody has some answers, apparently. Real quick. Did you want to do this one, or do you want me to do it?
You should do it. I'm doing Flippy.
People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.
FoxNews.com headline: The Bible's explainer on UFOs.
Whee!
There are many reports of strange objects in the sky dating from ancient times. It's an opinion piece written by Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. Name is very familiar. So what you'd expect. It kind of talks about the current situation with the UFOs and mentions David Grush and Dave Fravor and Ryan Graves, who also testified. And here's a little bit. What are we to make of this news? Well, there are many reports of strange objects in the sky dating from ancient times. Historian Josephus wrote of a mysterious spectacle that occurred over Israel in AD 70. Quote, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armor were seen running about among the clouds, wrote Josephus. There were numerous such events around the entire country as, quote, armed battalions hurling through the clouds and with great noise causing earthquakes. Kind of sounds like harp drones or something, or drone harps. There are many other recorded events of unexplained UAPs over the past millennia. And then they talk about Roswell. And of course, the 1994 U.S. Air Force report concluded the debris from Roswell was a top secret nuclear test surveillance balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into his personal beliefs here. I don't dismiss the possibility we are being visited by aliens. Further, I'm quite aware there are things my 5 senses can't understand, and they may be real like radio waves. For example, I believe there is a very real spiritual domain beyond our senses. You can call them aliens, angels, demons, or other. Most religions address this spiritual reality. Certainly Jews, Muslims, and Christians have a rich history. Jews and Christians will recall in 2 Kings 2:11 that Elijah went up into heaven like a whirlwind aboard a chariot pulled by horses of fire. Was that a UAP? Are there many references to angels in the Bible, old wives' tales? Then it talks about Billy Graham's book, Angels, God's Secret Agent. And it says here at the end, today Satan's demonic army is very active. They manifest themselves through various practices such as divination, witchcraft, channeling, and wizardry. Deuteronomy 18:10-12. They deceive, attack the human mind with the intent of control, and they leverage power to take captive people, especially the prominent. Some readers will dismiss the possibility of spiritual beings, angels, demons, struggling for control. However, many of us accept that there is much we don't understand. And yeah, I just thought it was interesting that Fox would go this far into like having a guy write an article and be very straightforward about it, quote some scripture, a lot of talking points that we've talked about in the context of how the Bible might explain some of these types of alleged, seemingly supernatural types of events. But yeah, kind of wild to be like, hey, yeah, angels, aliens, there's a spiritual dimension, all this kind of stuff. Very fascinating to be pumping it into. I guess it's not that surprising to see it on Fox as an op-ed, but still mainstream.
I mean, especially as an op-ed, that would be a possibility. I have a hard time believing that anybody reading Fox News wouldn't already have come to that conclusion.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's either the same way a lot of liberal outlets, their op-eds were just meant to really trigger the right. They would just say crazy stuff and we would be like, blah, I'm wondering if it's similar in that regard, because I think a lot of liberals read Fox to because remember Newsom was like, I watch Fox every day. My team told me not to watch Fox anymore. I have to keep track of what they're planning, that whole thing. So I think there's not just like a huge older conservative crowd that watches Fox, but you might be right. It might just be some people that already believe it and they're catering to that crowd. But there you go.
Yeah.
Fox News, UFOs, Bible, all there.
Everybody's getting in on it. And if nothing else, it shows that the time is now, that
conversation.
Every outlet is involved in bringing it to the sort of forefront to everybody's mind. You cannot escape the UFO disclosure conversation. And yeah, it is a little weird that it is like such a in-your-face thing across the board. It doesn't matter where you're getting your news from. Somebody's got some ideas about how you should think about UFOs.
It sounds like
come on. That used to be podcast's job. That's not your job, Fox.
Well, Fox, I mean, that article read like something you'd read in Raiders News or, View from the Bunker from 10, 15 years ago when, guys like Steve Quayle and L.A. Marzulli and Gary Stearman and those guys were reporting on a lot of this UFO type of stuff, and it wasn't in the mainstream. So
no, of course not.
It's interesting how it's they're kind of catching up to where we are, or we have been, or had been for a long time.
Yeah, just another great shift in the tide that is, what is crazy? What is the craziest thing to talk about? What is, back when I was a kid, if you talked about aliens, you were a tinfoil hatter. Now you're just a journalist.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Good day. Good day.
Okay.
I was going to say something else, but
day.
I realized I'm talking too much. But it's a podcast, so what are you
You're okay. We got to keep moving, though.
Yeah, it is Wednesday, right? Yeah.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey, guys, Wednesday. What date is it? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday. Don't be mistaken, folks. And we're back, baby. The summer continues to summer. We hope everybody is keeping cool. Of course, we're praying for our Hawaii listeners and producers out there. Those fires in Hawaii, you've been seeing some of that. The directed energy weapons lighting up. I think it was Kauai. I don't know, one of the islands there. It's a nightmare. It's apocalyptic.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, burning across Maui.
Yeah, Maui. That's the one. Yeah, serious business. So we're praying for you, Hawaii listeners and producers. Well, Gons, anything exciting? We kind of rushed out last episode. Is there anything to share?
No, not really. I will say that the thought I was trying to finish, but then what came out of my mouth was Wednesday, just a few moments ago, was that, people catching up to where people like us have been in terms of topics like UFOs and aliens and biblical perspective and all that. I think our job is to sort of move a little higher up the watchtower there to see, what else is coming. But really, when you look at it, the reason why we're like, hey, maybe Jesus is coming back pretty soon is because there's not much runway left. They're really, like, in terms of crazy stuff and cosmic implications and all that, living forever technology, UFO aliens, are there other creatures? Those are topics that once they go mainstream, it's kind of like, okay, what else is there? You really can't. God is maybe the only other topic that's bigger that obviously is, very prominent. But I don't know. That's why I'm saying maybe Jesus is coming back soon because no flesh would survive otherwise. So
keeping our eyes open, folks. There's got to be more. We'll see. Nothing exciting happened over on my side here. It's just hot. I'm just trying to survive, man. Just trying to survive, just like the rest of us.
It is hot. It is definitely hot.
Yeah. I want to take a second and let's see here. Let's just go ahead and thank our executive producer for the day.
Executive producer.
Yeah, we're on the value for value model, folks. Which means we take no money from corporations, cartels, or commies. Nope, we're entirely funded by people who get value from the show. If you receive value, just keep in mind the only way that this show continues is if producers put value back in. And you can do that with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to get involved. After my stint in the hospital there was lots of things were a little rocky for the show for obvious reasons. But I'm back, and I think we're going to be trying to coordinate some back end producers for stuff. So maybe if producing the show with your money or your art or whatever isn't for you, and that's totally chill. But if you want to get involved, become a part of the family here, help us out with all the things, so many processes, so many opportunities that we usually just miss because we don't have employees or something. But if you want to produce the show, help us out with some very important tasks on the back end. It's a fairly low stakes commitment, but it's a huge help for us. You can send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. We can figure something out. But for those producers who come and keep the show going with their treasure, we are so grateful, especially in these days. And the executive producers, people who come in for $100 or more on an individual episode, we call them executive producers because they're very important to our survival. And we like to give them a nice big thank you here at the top. And we're going to do that, whether you like it or not. What do you think, Gons?
I don't have a choice, apparently.
No, you do not. So let's all stand up and have a rousing round of applause for executive producer Warrior Chick Jan.
Warrior Chick Jan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to see you on the list. Haven't heard from you in some time. Well, we know you're around, but it's quite an honor to have you executive producing the show. Thank you very much. And Warrior Chick Jan came in for a nice round number, which means we will not disclose it here, but helped us out with the fees and everything. So thank you very much, Warrior Chick Jan.
Where'd you find this?
Bankroll out the bankroll I spend.
And that's our only executive producer for the day. However, we got a couple people to thank who joined up for the Canary Cry Babysitters Club and the T-shirt Council.
Okay, so both. All right, hold on. What are we doing first?
We'll do both.
T-shirt Council?
I don't know. You choose.
Babysitter. Here we go. Hold on. What happened to my babysitter? Here we go. Babysitters.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
Yeah, that's right. We got children who need cared for over here. That's a word. Yes, childcare. If it wasn't for the babies needing to, survive and eat and not stick their fingers in light sockets, the show would be much easier to do. But that's not the case. We need childcare for those cute little babies that'll carry on Gonz's legacy. And for the next 30 people who sign up for the supply drop, they are officially in the Canary Cry Babysitters Club and will receive a free Canary Cry t-shirt along with their supply drop that they'll start receiving. And so let's see. Yes, we are down to 30 more. We need 30 more people to commit to supporting the show with 1 hour of babysitting a month. I think that's a pretty cool way to help out your favorite podcast. Pay for an hour of babysitting a month. It's $33.33. Go to canarycrysupply.com to sign up. And we had a new signer-upper, which I'm having a hard time finding. We have so many tables and lists. There it is. Okay. The new Canary Cry Babysitter Club member is Manoj K.
Manoj K. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manoj. Appreciate that. And you're on the list. You'll be receiving your shirt with your first supply drop there. Awesome. Now, that Canary Cry t-shirt that I'm talking about was chosen so wisely by members of the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council.
Oh, that was
which has a jingle. That's right. There's lots of ways to help keep the show going with different rewards and gifts that come along with that. The Canary Cry T-Shirt Council is the most secret of secret societies spanning the globe, filled with the best-looking, smartest, and most talented robe wearers that have ever existed. And instead of putting their talents towards global domination and some sort of secret oppressive plan to spiritually ascend into godhood because of their lizard people roots, the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council has put their energy towards choosing, deciding, blessing us with the Canary Cry T-shirt every quarter. They support the show for $19.84 a month, and they vote every quarter on the T-shirt. And man, did they do a good job. They do a good job every single time. And we have some new members, starting with most important person in the world, Everett M.
Everett M.
Thank you very much, Everett M.
Thank you very much.
We also have most important person in the world, Stephen D.
Stephen D. Thank you.
There we go. Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining up. And so, no matter what your heart desires as far as supporting the show, there is something available for you that will not only give you the satisfaction and the esteem of being a producer of Canary Cry News Talk, but also cool little rewards every quarter. So go check it out. There's Canary Cry Supply Drop, Canary Cry T-Shirt Council. Put a .com at the end of either of those, and you'll learn all about it.
All right.
One last thing, Gons, before we get going. We have information on a new meetup.
Oh. Okay, hold on. Was not prepared for that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Yeah, go to canarycrymeetups.com, canarycrymeetups.com. You can see where the meetups are happening around the world for Canarians just like you. Connecting with actual human beings is a very important part of society today, one that so many of us don't do very often. Because why would you? People are annoying and they're dangerous and they're, I don't know, most of them are.
They might be 7-foot aliens flying around.
They might be 7-foot aliens. They might be Democrats. Who knows? You just can never trust them. But if you go to a Canary Cry News Talk meetup, hey, you know that you'll at least have something in common with these people, and people have a great time. So go to canarycrymeetups.com. You can see where all the meetups are. It's a little light right now, but we do have a new one to announce today, and that is the Canary Cry Reno meetup.
Yeah, speaking of the sky skating aliens.
That's right. Sky Skating Aliens. Producer Courtney S. is putting on a meetup in Reno, Nevada on Saturday, September 9th at Roller Kingdom, doing some Canary Cry roller skating. That's right. Let's see here. Sean and Courtney's second annual Reno, Nevada meetup. Join us. Join us in the battle. The Church of Skating.
Join us, battle the Church of Skating. Yeah. You're going to fight them. You're going to fight them.
You had to have been around for a couple of years to understand the Church of Skating reference. Maybe we need to bring it back, but that's right. We know that every skating rink across the world is actually a secret satanic temple filled with, circular roller skating, sacrificial rituals. That's what I'm trying to think of. Yes. And so, it's been part of the Canary Cry mission to disrupt the Church of Skating by shining the light of the Lord into those dark places, roller skating rinks. And it's a lot of fun. So there you go. Reno, Nevada, September 9th at Roller Kingdom. We'll be putting the information up at canarycrymeetups.com. Go check it out and go skate, folks. Go skate for Jesus.
This is fun!
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from Axios.com. And you know Axios, folks. They don't write articles. They do bullet points. Bullet points. That's the way the news should be presented. So thank you very much, Axios, for that. The headline is "The Midwest is America's Robot Capital." Ooh. Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you? You thought robots would start at the coasts and work their way in. You got Silicon Valley, you got New York, the budding hot spots for technocratic revolution. But it turns out the strategy is more surprising than that. It reads here, Iowa, Michigan, Kansas, Wisconsin, and Minnesota are the top 5 states using robots in manufacturing, according to a new report from the National Bureau of Economic Research. Now, I do want to make a distinction, Gons. They are saying that, Iowa, Michigan, Kansas, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, top 5 states using robots in manufacturing specifically. I think if you were to choose the states that are using robots in barista-ing or, juicing, burger flipping, that might come across a little different. But by the numbers, the Midwest is the robot capital of the U.S. It says why it matters. Robots are set to fundamentally change how economies operate. And I love this. I love how Axios is just putting it out there, because usually with robot reporting, it's not very meta. Like, it's not a meta big view, 30,000 view of robots. It's more, hey, this will help your employee, or hey, this will make things cheaper, or hey, watch this robot make you a grilled cheese sandwich. Isn't that fun? But Axios is coming out and saying robots are set to fundamentally change how economies operate, because within that, you have topics like, you're talking about the operation of an economy. That's not just individual jobs being taken or cooperated with robots. You're talking about in the sense of UBI, universal basic income. Once a certain percentage of jobs are inhabited by robots, you're talking about a truly sort of paradigm shift in even what an economy is fundamentally. And so it's nice of them to put that in their bullet point there, much like the internet and electricity. Yet their impact stands to be geographically stratified. So we're talking about the inequalities of geographical robot usage. The big picture, the U.S. robot economy is highly skewed and split into 3 tiers, according to the report. 3/4 of America's robots are clustered in just 10% of U.S. regions, as defined by the Office of Management and Budget, while the bottom 50% have almost no robots. Inequality, Gons. How can we live with such a skewed distribution of robot wealth?
Those robot haves and the robot have-nots.
Exactly. Exactly. Driving the news. The researchers used census data and survey results from around 35,000 manufacturers to examine regional adoption of robots. One main finding, quote, robots are mostly complements to production workers, not substitutes for them. So there's that cooperative robot line there that is sort of mandatory in all robot news reporting. But they also have another insight. Companies with robots tend to have more human workers. Okay, so you've got more human workers when a company has robots. So don't worry, they won't take your jobs. But they often pay their workers less. So what we have is robots perhaps right now, not necessarily replacing humans, but you have robots as justification to pay humans less. Both ways you cut it. It is not great for the average American citizen.
Yeah, will fundamentally change how economies work. There you go.
Yeah. Where
laying it out.
When they say fundamentally change, they mean, you
make no more money. You better hop on the UBI bandwagon if you want to get paid for anything. Yeah.
Further stratify the wealth gap in existence.
There's robot inequality. We must fix it. How? Kill human equality.
Robot havers are the billionaires and the people who make money. Robot not havers are the ones getting their lunch eaten by the robots for no reason, because the robots don't even need to eat. There's also a robot cluster effect. Companies are more likely to use robots if others nearby use them, and if they're located in manufacturing hubs. Like a virus, folks. The robots are spreading like a virus. The dynamic is partly driven by the presence of robot integrators, businesses that specialize in helping companies acquire and install robots. So middlemen, robo-middlemen. An area with at least one integrator is 20 to 25 percentage points more likely to be a robot hub than an area with no integrators. Okay, well, we know who we need to string up first when the robots take control. Reality check, it says, while robots are contributing to the national GDP, they're not yet turning around America's lagging productivity growth. That mirrors a 1980s phenomenon wherein computers spread without productivity spiking until the 1990s. So they're saying the benefits of these robots might take another 10 years to actually materialize. Work automation has also been linked to political polarization. If robots are deployed unevenly across America, leaving some regions and workers in the dust, that carries risk of further polarization. Now, here's where everything started coming together for me, because they're making the implication that where robots are gives a benefit to the workers. That's kind of what they're trying to imply with this political polarization thing, meaning, hey, politics is going to suffer, or it's going to be polarized because the people without robots will want robots, and the people with robots, will be Republicans, apparently. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. You've got the majority of robots, a vast majority of robots, 80% of robots in the country are focused in these Midwest red states. And you think, oh, well, that's unfair. Why do they get all the robots? That's going to help them unevenly, with their economies, and it's going to boost them into the future. However, you're seeing that when there's more robots, people are getting paid less. So it's actually a detriment to these Midwest states. And, these companies who are using robots, obviously a lot of them are manufacturing and technology companies. They're going to the Midwest because there's cheaper human labor. Then they are importing robots, which is making the human labor cheaper. And then they're worried about political polarization. And what you see here is the liberal coasts are not the ones suffering from the use of robots. It's the inner Midwest red part of the country that is experiencing not a dichotomy. I don't know. It's just this strange flip-flop where, hey, okay, we get the robots. That'll bring in more GDP. That makes us more technologically advanced in our manufacturing in the Midwest. We're so cool. This is wonderful. However, traditionally, the Midwest being the part of the country that's sort of traditionally been betrayed by politicians across the board, both on the left and the right. The Midwest is really treated very poorly by our politicians for, political reasons. The voting numbers don't work out very well for those regions. In fact, it's protecting those regions is the reason for the Electoral College, but that's for another podcast. So you have this strange sort of dichotomy where the places that are getting the most technologically advanced robots are the ones where humans will be suffering the most. And, it's no surprise. I mean, you can see a world in which it is the political right that has something to say about the robots. Which is kind of already where we're at. You'd say, Republicans, they're Luddites. They don't like progress. They don't like technology. They want to farm with their wagons and their oxens. And, they're so traditionalist and lame. But what we're seeing is the robots are actually coming in and sabotaging the economies of these Midwest manufacturing hubs, which, I think it will further politically polarize everybody, and it will be surrounding the topic of robots, because the people who will be benefiting from cheap robot labor and therefore cheap human labor are the
business owners.
The liberal coastal regions are the ones who will be getting the cost benefits of robot manufacturing without suffering the income detriments that robots bring to their region. Now they finish it out here. What they're saying, Eric Bernjolfsson, director of the Stanford Digital Economy Lab, Stanford, and lead report author, concedes much unexplained dark matter remains. Come on, Stanford people. You don't need to use metaphors. This is metaphors as a weapon, Gons.
I told you.
Unexplained dark matter remains when it comes to understanding why robot hubs emerge where they do. Bjornolfsson also worries about, quote, a separation where some manufacturing becomes much more high-tech and robust and other parts get left behind. Again, you've got this linguistic trick going on here where, if you get the robots, your manufacturing is robust, even though it means that your workers get paid less. And if you don't have robots, you're being left behind, even though their workers are getting paid more.
So left behind means the middle class gets to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If left behind, a manufacturing region that gets left behind means a healthy working class instead of vice versa. But that's what you would expect from a Stanford elite person.
Yeah.
The keys to more even robot adoption could be the spread of robot integrator firms, middlemen, and policies that support investments in specialized human capital. So highly educated human people who can run the robots instead of getting paid to manufacture things, said Rob Siemens, a report co-author from New York University. The bottom line Industrial robots have been in use in the U.S. since at least the 1961, but we still don't know much about the connection between robot adoption and other forms of investment of robots' impact on international trade. Interesting, because I took an entirely different bottom line from this. So Axios trying to make you think about international trade with robots, and your old buddy Basil here a little bit more worried about the working class being replaced or hamstrung by these robots.
Why is it always the same tactic where it's, they come in, all these robots are really going to increase productivity. So the boss is like, oh, go, yeah, great. And then what it's actually doing is sabotaging the entire economy of
their
work economy.
They're focused on the capital class, the investor class. And they are good for the investor class, but they are not good for the working class. But the hope is that the working class can get subsidized by the government with universal basic income, while the investment class gets subsidized to buy robots and put people out of work.
Well, that's what politics is, right? You get the upper class to say they formulate a narrative, and then they get the majority of people, which most people are in the middle or below, to support whatever endeavors those people at the top have.
Yep,
and that's
exactly. And that's why you never listen to politicians, even if they're your favorites. Okay, there you go, Gons. There's your Flippy update for the day.
Climate change. Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
How dare you?
Climate change. Climate change. Climate change.
Mass extinction.
Climate change.
Climate change.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Antarctica climate crisis. Penguins.
Antarctica is normally a topic we cover at the end of the show, but it has moved much closer to the mainstream as recent years, more so in the context of climate change. In today's article from Sky News, the headline, Climate Change, Antarctica could become planet's radiator due to extreme weather, fear scientists carrying out government review. So, that's a new one. Antarctica is going to become the planet's radiator.
Yeah, put it to work.
Quote, tumbling records in Antarctica must be taken more seriously because of their cascading global impacts. A group of scientists asked by the Foreign Office to investigate the unprecedented changes has warned today. After enormous icebergs, a quarter size of whales appeared to break off with increasing frequency, the Foreign Office commissioned the review, which has confirmed extreme events there are happening. What? Which has confirmed extreme events there are happening more often and are more intense. I think
so. Wales, you're talking about the island in the UK, is what they mean by Wales.
Yes.
So they're saying a portion of ice the size of a quarter of Wales has disappeared. I mean, it is summer. That is what happens. Antarctic scientists have been ignored forever. That, ice melts in the summer and then refreezes in the winter. Wasn't it just last week that they were saying the ice the size of Argentina disappeared?
Yeah. So one of the things we do here at Canary Cry News Talk is we scour headlines. I mean, we're reading, I think between you and I, we're probably going through thousands of headlines. Hundreds for sure, maybe into the thousands on some weeks. But
the last time we counted, which was a while back, between the two of us, we were reading 200 articles a week, and headlines countless.
Yeah, countless. So we notice patterns, or maybe I noticed them. I know you noticed them too. So I started noticing a lot of Antarctica headlines using metaphors, I guess, or analogies to talk about how scary it is that all this ice is missing. And I did tweet this out. I said, what exactly is disappearing from Antarctica? And I have a headline screenshot here from The Independent. Antarctica is missing an area of sea ice the size of Greenland. what's going on? And then a YouTube video, a whole Mexico missing from Antarctica.
The whole world. It's the whole world is melting.
A whole Mexico, though, not just a whole Mexico. Not just a quarter of a Wales. The whole Mexico is missing from Antarctica. And then another article that mentioned the Argentina, first in Antarctica, the area size of Argentina disappears. So there's that. I think it was a Reuters article. And then there's one more here. This entire nation will disappear within a few years. So I don't exactly understand what's disappearing, but every outlet got the green light to come up with their regionally appropriate analogy to talk about the amount of ice that's gone missing from Antarctica. And I actually did the math on
apparently the amount of ice in Antarctica was equivalent to the amount of land on Earth.
Yeah, you add this all up, and it's crazy. So I did look at the square mileage of Mexico, Argentina, and Greenland, and they all were kind of around, I believe it was 2 million square meters. I got to revisit some of my notes with that, but there was a discrepancy of about 500,000 square miles. So, between the largest, I forget which one was the largest and which one was the smallest, but yeah, I mean, everyone just has a green light to just say whatever about this. And, it's just an interesting thing. I'll keep the list going and send us some if you see more out there. Jane Rumble, head of polar regions at the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, said, quote, "What happens in Antarctica does not stay in Antarctica."
Uh-oh.
Like anti-Las Vegas.
That kind of fits. That's kind of exactly what we've been saying for years. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of us covering Antarctica is because what they say about Antarctica, they use to signal plans for the whole world.
Yep.
She's basically confirming. What is her job title again?
Head of Polar Regions at the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
Yeah, that's a long title. Not a real job, by the way. But she is confirming exactly what our theory about Antarctica has been for quite some time now.
Quote, "It has global consequences, and therefore it's important to raise awareness of what Antarctica is going through." It's an emotional thing. Professor Martin Seigert, glaciologist at the University of Exeter, said they were extremely worried about, quote, "the increasing intensity and frequency of extreme events and the cascading influences that they have in other areas," end quote. He said we should be, quote, "deeply concerned about the environment of Antarctica in the years that are coming under continued fossil fuel burning," end quote. They wanted to, quote, "provoke the scientific community to start taking extreme events in Antarctica a lot more seriously than they have been," added Professor Seigert. I mean, this Professor Seigert is doing our job. Provoking the scientific community to take a look at Antarctica. Go look up Admiral Byrd. Quote, "There's a real danger, I think, in the recent years coming ahead that Antarctica starts to behave in a way that looks a lot more like the Arctic. That it stops acting like a refrigerant for the planet and it starts acting like a radiator."
Now, what is it? Okay. They're talking about a radiator in a home. I think this is a cultural problem with I get it now. Because in America, a radiator in your car cools your car. It's cooling. So I thought originally this was, Antarctica will be cooling the earth. But they're using it in kind of the Euro sense, which is a radiator in your home, which heats your home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Am I getting this right? Are we on the same page now? Okay. So they're saying Antarctica is going to be heating up the world.
Yeah, they're going to be the bastion, the engine that burns Earth.
Oh, good. We got to nuke it then. Let's nuke Antarctica. It's going to heat up the world. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. What's the point?
Well, the article continues on here. The scientists are worried about 3 extremes in particular. Absolutely enormous heat wave, and talk a little bit about how hot it's been, and they're saying it can get even hotter. Tumbling sea ice cover, so there you go, you got your rising sea levels. There's only 2 there apparently in this article. Oh, here it is. Sea ice. Oh, yeah. This is the sea ice part. Sea ice cover at the start of 2023 in Antarctic summer was at, quote, record low already, but then it has dropped really a long way from anything that we've previously expected, end quote. Quote, we're seeing really a new world in Antarctic sea ice, Dr. Holmes added. A whole new world in Antarctica, Basil. Okay, one more part here. The dramatic ice shelf collapse. The scientists also warned of the dramatic collapse of ice shelves Larsen A and B on the Antarctic Peninsula and the Conger ice shelf in East Antarctica, which can push up atmospheric and ice temperatures. Now, this idea, this like third extremes scenario, reminded me of an old video that was published. I believe it was published by a company or group called Heliofont. Do you know what I'm talking about, Basil?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
More information. It was a piece called I Pet Goat 2. It was actually published in 2012. It was animated by some Canadian animation team. And for those of you who don't know, because it is 11 years old now, the animation has, it's crazy, right? It's CGI, and it has all these scenes. It's like a series of scenes, and it's kind of a comment on modern society and politics and spirituality and the human condition. And it covers major world events. It covers 9/11. There's like Bush in there doing things. They have religious
it's like
imagery.
A strange occult compilation of nonsense scenes.
Right. Part. Yeah, and it's all sort of weird and it's all occulty, and there's lots and lots of symbolism, which is the reason why people have broken down I Pet Goat and I Pet Goat 2 especially for years, looking at all the hidden potential meanings and things like that. But I bring it up because at the end of I Pet Goat 2, there's like this Jesus figure that becomes enlightened or whatever, and he's floating away, and the entire ice thing that they were in for a lot of the end parts of the film or video or whatever starts to crumble. All the ice towers and everything crumble. And the Jesus character is sort of floating on a boat towards the sun or something. So it's just kind of an interesting.
So Antarctica was in the I Pet Goat
not directly
messaging or whatever.
Not directly per se, but looking back now, it's kind of like, oh, maybe this is, because I haven't really heard much in the climate conversation about the specific dramatic. Well, I guess we have heard about ice shelf collapse, but this dramatic in the sense that there's a whole new world and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Gons, you've got your heart out today. So I'm thinking maybe we should hit the further climate change stories here.
Yeah.
Either do them now or save them for next time.
No, well, the big point.
It's pretty easy run through.
Yeah. Let me just wrap this one up real quick. Is basically their whole thing is we need more surveillance. We need more data. We need to surveil everything more. We need to have more data on everything, and that's really the bottom line. So
the surveillance state mindset. Yeah. Well, if you are Antarctic scientists, watch out, man. They're watching you. They're watching you, and you better, I don't know, do whatever you do down there correctly and say that we're all going to die. And Antarctica, start cooling us off, okay? You don't need to heat us up. That doesn't make any sense. On the same lines here, there was a bunch of hullabaloo about a fire. Well, of course, there's the Hawaiian fires that just started, but a couple days ago, there was the plastic manufacturing plant that was mysteriously set ablaze.
Like a huge blaze, humongous
in
fire.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's enormous. I don't know if you want to show the footage or not, but there's incredible plumes of black smoke, and this is, of course, a plastics factory, so there's chemicals that everybody's talking about, the deadly chemicals going into the air and becoming carcinogenic, and all these horrible things about this plastic factory. And if you remember, if I can remind you, back during the pandemic there, we saw lots of very important factories of all kinds kind of go up in smoke. There was the chicken factories. There is the food packing plants. It was all kind of food related, but these factory fires became pretty much an everyday occurrence. And, I don't know, it was interesting. The food factory thing, we kind of had an eco-terrorism sort of hints to it. But there was also fires. I mean, talk about the fires in Canada where satellites showed.
A bunch of them start at the same time.
Yeah, there's like 10 fires that all started within an hour of each other, and they're hundreds of miles away. You had the California fires a couple of years back that turns out it was started by sort of eco warriors. The shaman girl who is running around lighting fires. This has been an ongoing trend. Well, it's of course been very suspicious for many years, but what I thought was also a little suspicious was, part of how I find articles, I do it on my phone, is through Apple News Plus. They make it easy to sort of navigate hundreds of different outlets. And I came across this article on Vox, and considering Vox's bad luck lately, I said, oh, what has Vox got going on? So I check out Vox, and they had this article called The Terrible Paradox of Air Pollution and Climate Change. And I go, ooh, paradox, how delicious. And I read through it. I try to share it with you. I try to go on a browser and I get a 404. The article doesn't exist anymore. I send it to you. You can't pull it up. It's a whole thing. It's sort of like it disappeared immediately. I have some screenshots that I'll be reading off of. But you did a little search and found that very similar stories were being written last year as well.
Yeah.
Talking about the paradox of air pollution. You have one here from Wyon that was, what a paradox. Improved air quality is now accelerating global warming. And that was kind of the gist of this Vox article. Was saying, hey, we're doing a great job of cleaning the air, of reducing pollution, and lo and behold, the Earth just keeps getting hotter.
It's actually getting hotter faster.
Hotter faster. Yes, it's not getting hotter despite cleaning up the air. It's getting hotter because of cleaning up the air. And this article talked about how, some particles, well, here's a quote. There are some particles that are warming, such as black carbon particles. They have a warming influence as well as being bad for our health. So if we can target black carbon-related emissions, then we could have a benefit for both problems.
Always
for
targeting
both air
black
pollution. Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, come on, Vox. What are you doing?
Maybe that's why they took it off the mainstream. They were like, oh, you can't write targeting. But we're not talking about that. But they're like, no, we can't do it.
Yeah, and before that, they had mentioned here preventing further climate change is therefore the greatest concern, and given greenhouse gases and aerosol cooling particles often stem from the same sources, it's very difficult to isolate the emissions. So their whole point was that, you know what, actually, the more we clean up the air, the faster the climate is getting hotter. And it's really hard because some pollution cools down the earth, other pollution heats it up, and it seems like the balance, as it has been, the balance of air pollution that we've had over the past years was actually better for the earth than to cut all of these polluting things altogether. And
so
then
it's better to pollute. It's polluting the world is saving the world.
It was impossible to come away from reading this article without coming to the conclusion that pollution is actually good for climate change. And the
standards of climate change that they have set, the carbon emission goals and all that kind of stuff, right?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? So the carbon, specifically carbon, heats up, they say, heats up the climate, but aerosols cool down. And the thing with air pollution is most air pollution is both carbon and aerosols, and sometimes it's more aerosols, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So I don't know. It started coming together in this concept of eco-terrorism where we've seen, I don't even know what the groups are anymore, but whatever.
Extinction
some sort of
Rebellion. We have a quick story on that.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Extinction Rebellion, where you've got some of their members, they're trying to blow up gas pipelines. They're trying to, do terrorism in order to save the earth. And we talked about it during the wildfires. And I think that this plastics fire might be an example of some eco-terrorism where you think, oh no, the smoke is so bad for the earth. Oh, I can't believe our chemicals are going to kill us all. But the air pollution might actually probably does have a cooling effect on the earth. And that Vox article I was telling you about, one of their big points was like, yeah, but air pollution still kills a lot of people. So how do we pollute just enough where we don't kill people? But also, we might just have to make a sacrifice and pollute the air. And some people might die because of it, but that's just a price we're willing to pay. And, you think about the radicalness of these eco-terrorists. Yeah, they're probably happy to kill people in order to keep the planet save the planet from whatever they want to save the planet from. And somebody might be tempted to be like, no, they wouldn't do that. Nobody would want to kill millions of people just to cool down the earth. They're not eco-terrorists. That's libel. Don't call them eco-terrorists. They're not crazy. They're actually good. They're morally good people. They're the people who care about others, care about animals, care about plants, all these things. Well, there's actually a little bit of a problem with that coming from the Telegraph.uk. Little headline that's, I don't know, maybe you could call it a character case for Extinction Rebellion people. The headline is Extinction Rebellion activist stabbed boyfriend to death as he pleaded, I love you. I love you. Law student jailed for life over fatal knife attack following an argument while under the influence of heroin, cocaine, and cannabis. Well, that is quite the night, quite the party night. You got heroin, you got cocaine to bring you back from the heroin, you got cannabis to bring you down from the cocaine. An Extinction Rebellion activist stabbed her boyfriend to death as he pleaded, I love you, a court heard. Blaze Lily Wallace. There's a name for you. Blaze. Sounds like maybe she started a fire or two. A 28-year-old law student was jailed for life on Monday after following her fiancé Samuel Mayo down the street after a domestic dispute last summer at their home in southwest London and fatally wounding him. Witnesses heard him repeatedly shout, please, Blaze, I love you, please, Blaze, before he bled to death at the side of the road, begging motorists and passersby to call an ambulance. A jury of 8 women and 4 men at Kingston upon Thames Crown Court unanimously convicted Wallace of murder and possessing an offensive weapon after 10.5 hours of deliberation following a 3-week trial.
Can we?
So there you go. That's unstable people, man. Unstable. Yes. I think there's no doubt that they would set a chemical factory on fire.
Yeah. There's a couple other things here. A signal. He was taken to Kingston Hospital and pronounced dead at 10:33 p.m. So there's your 33 in there.
Ah, yes.
And then there's some. She claimed that he had a chopstick that was a weapon. That didn't really work. But, there's a lot of stuff in here, but there's not a lot about the eco-warrior side of things. Until the very end, there's a little bit of info. Wallace graduated from St. Mary's University, Twickenham, with a law degree in 2017, and when arrested was 1 month short of completing her master's in human rights and legal practice at the University of Roehampton. Her LinkedIn page says that she has attended Extinction Rebellion protests, which she believes are, quote, of great importance. That's it. Of
great importance,
that's yes. She just says she went to some protests on LinkedIn, and that's enough for her to get a headline. Extinction Rebellion.
Well, that's an interesting thing to put on your LinkedIn.
I suppose. Yeah, well, yeah, that is true. Yeah. But also, yeah, I mean, I guess it's enough to make you the sort of create for the media to create the association. I think is kind of interesting. And just as a side note to the fire, the plastic factory fire, one of the CRISPR theories that I had over the years was that, you know, CRISPR will be used in some kind of vaccine or some kind of medication to alter us genetically to fight off some kind of climate catastrophe, either event or, you know, maybe, I don't know, Antarctica turning into a radiator or whatever it is. And you had mentioned recently sort of the added layer of plastic, like nanoplastics being part of the conversation. Like, oh, humanity is way over contaminated, and you know, we need to get our CRISPR vaccines to get rid of the nanotoxins and nanoplastics that are in our body.
Microplastics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I thought of when this fire went up. Now, I went to a Sprouts. It's one of these grocery stores. It's way too expensive. I bought an apple and some milk. I'm walking out, and a young lady stops me, and she says, oh, hey, you know, I'm carrying both my kids, so it's not like I look like I'm busy and I'm trying to get places. I'm not looking to have a conversation. But she stops me and she goes, have you heard of Greenpeace? And she's holding up this big sign, Greenpeace. This happened today, by the way, earlier today. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. Obviously, my brain is going, not great things about Greenpeace, but okay. And she says, well, you know about the microplastic problem we're having. And I was like, oh, I do, actually. And she's like, well, you know about, we all consume a credit card amount of, what did she say? A credit card's worth of plastic in our bodies. I think she said every day, but maybe she meant I don't know. But I was like, whoa, a credit card worth of plastic is consumed every day by humans? I might need to get that CRISPR shot, man. She didn't understand what I meant by that. Yeah. But anyway, she stared at me in confusion, and I walked away with my children. But yeah, interesting. The plastic conversation coming up a lot recently, and maybe it's because of this fire, but maybe it's also because it creates the conversation at the very least about nanoplastics contaminating everything. Right. And you
gotta get your microplastics vaccine. Yep. Okay. Well, with that, Guns, I think that we should thank some producers and skedaddle pretty soon.
Yeah, you know, this show is value for value.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
That's right. You know it. You love it. It's the value for value model. That's why you don't hear any advertisements on this show, but not just that. We also don't take any money from any organizations that could possibly lead to us, I don't know, self-censoring or exploring things we don't want to explore, changing our attitudes about certain products or movements or politics or anything. Nope. We are entirely free to cover what we want to cover and say what we want to say, which would be impossible otherwise. And the people who get value from the show, they put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure, and we're very appreciative of them. We've had some financial producers come in, and I want to thank them real quick. You good?
Let's do it, yes.
Okay, I'm going to start out with Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
Hey, Sir Darren.
Yeah, he comes in for 7777. Came in last episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Sir Darren. I don't think he came with a note there. I do not believe. Yes, and we are also thanking the producers who came in for last episode as well. So a nice chunk, 2 episodes worth of producers. We appreciate it. Thank you, Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Panda. Next up, we have producer Greg G. Greg G.
That's a double G.
Yeah, I think double G came in with a nice round number. Now, if you're new to the show, just let me let you know. If you come in with a nice round number, that is you signaling to us that you'd prefer we don't give that number away. And so there we go. Nice round number. Thank you very much, double G.
Thank you.
Next up, we got Lady Night Little Wing comes in.
Lady Night Little Wing.
Yeah, with a nice round number. And I will say, Lady Night Little Wing just sent an email saying she might be able to go check out the orb, the WorldCoin orb.
Yes. Do it.
So, if you're listening now, Lady Night Little Wing,
By the way,
do it.
When I was at Sprouts, I saw a coconut, and I saw those 3 dots, and I was like, dude, that looks like WorldCoin. It's a WorldCoin.
They put 3 dots in the coconut?
No, on the bottom of the coconut, there's like 3 little dots. Isn't that like a normal thing on coconuts?
No, that's a cartoon thing on coconut.
No. I saw 3 dots on the bottom. I took a picture of it.
No, what I'm saying is, I think they put the 3 dots on it. I think that's like a cartoon joke with, bowling with a coconut.
Right. No, there's 3 dots, man. I'm sending you the picture right now.
That's hilarious. That's a great marketing for coconuts. Thank you, Lady Night Little Wing. I will take a look at that picture whenever you send it.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got a producer we haven't seen in a while. Thank you to producer Shagan.
Thank you, Shagan.
Shagan. And you know what? I didn't write down Shagan's amount. Apologies for that. I'm going to look that up in a second. But we got a note from Shagan that says, we finally got a little bit of that yearly government money. Use it as y'all see fit. Love and prayers for the Canarians. Shagan P.S. Oh, Shagan. P.S. If possible, crank that Canary Cry awaits for us. You think we can do that at the end of the show, Gons?
Canary Cry awaits for us. Which one is that?
Canary Cry awaits. That's the song.
Yeah. Yes. I will.
Thank you very much, producer Shagan. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Good to hear. Next up, we've got producer Guy L.
Guy L, thank you.
Guy L came in last episode. No note, but came in for $22. Thank you, Guy. Next up, we got producer Ostrich Butter. We see
Ostrich Butter.
Chat. Yeah, see him on Twitter all the time. Ostrich Butter comes in for $33.77.
Ooh, that's like Illuminatus.
Yeah, something.
But the 77 kind of throws me off a little bit.
Illuminatus.
Guess it straightens them out.
Fun number. Yeah. Ostrich Butter says, hey guys, this is Ostrich Butter, my Twitter alter ego. I finally got around to sending in some producership fundage today, but didn't send a note, so I didn't see a space to do so. Oh, you did it. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been listening to your stuff since about 2014, and that I'm thankful for what you do. There are a lot of belief differences out there in Christianity, and it's thousands of denominations, so I'm grateful that your guys' theology is strong, as it's crucial to the messaging you send out through your shows. Keep up the great work. God bless both of you. Well, God bless you, Ostrich Butter.
Thank you, Ostrich Butter.
We'll see you on Twitter. Next up, we got producer Malik W. Malik W. Came in last episode as well with a nice round number and is on a 4-episode streak now.
Oh no, I am not prepared. Hold on. 4 episodes?
Oh, yeah. 4
at least
episodes.
There's no jingles for the 4, but there's is a streak.
Here we go. Thank you very much, Malik W, for that 4-episode streak. Next up, we got producer LX Protocol V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol. Came in 777. Came in a couple. Is now on a 201 episode streak. 201.
201.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
Event 201.
Illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia.
Pandemic.
Thank you very much.
Event 201 for Sir LX Protocol.
That's right.
I think we would have been better off if we got LX Protocol as the main protocol response to COVID over Event 201.
Yeah, good point. Next up, we got Dame Sarah. I believe this is Dame Sarah of the Shadows here. Came in with a nice round number. Thank you, Dame Sarah. Good afternoon, Canary Cry family. Hope you're all staying cool. I really appreciate the episodes you've been putting out. So thankful for Basil's return. Gonzo, if we lived closer, I'd come over and babysit for you. Please know we are praying for you and the whole CCNT family. For those of you who have not had a chance, Canary Cry Linktree, and check out the Flippy Update Origins, Dame Sarah. Yes. Flippy Origins on the Canary Cry radio feed. Thank you very much, Dame Sarah. Great to hear from you.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, who's come in a few times over the past couple episodes here. He is on a 330 episode streak.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to press.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
We We definitely need a 333 jingle. We've got 3 episodes. Give Sir Casey the Shield Knight a 333 jingle. Yeah. So get to work, jingle boys. Let's see. There's a note here. A couple of notes from Sir Casey. Shout out to my buddy Jared, New Canarian. Jared. What's up, Jared, New Canarian? After hearing his first episode of CCR, he began to go back and listen to every episode in reverse order.
Oh, boy.
Right. That's a commitment. Thank you very much, Jared. Glad to have you here. And then there's another note saying, calling the producers.
Producers, assemble!
Calling the producers. That's right, producers. That's you around the world, producers of the show, people who are committed to praying for the show, praying for the producers of the show, just doing a lot of praying. So put this on the list. We're praying for my son, Rowan. Oh, Sir Casey's son, Rowan, who's having a bad allergic reaction. Thanks all. Yah bless ya. Okay, yes, producers. We're praying for Sir Casey the Shield Knight's son, Rowan, who's having a bad allergic reaction, I think, as we speak. So we'll pray, of course, health and peace and safety and everything over you and your family. And goodness gracious, let us know how that goes, Sir Casey. Thank you very much.
We're praying for little Rowan.
Rowan.
Not little Owen. Little Rowan.
Little Rowan, yes. Okay. As far as I can tell, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in under the over the amount of $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But some people came in under that. We're going to thank them real quick, starting with Veronica D on a 291 episode streak.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Oh, goodness gracious. Next up, we have Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
Uh-oh.
Who is on a streak. I did a bad job recording what his streak is. I'm going to say it's 320.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. 320. Thank you, Sir Scott.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, Lady is X's and O's.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
Thank you, Dame Gale. 290 in a row. Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 263 in a row. Thank you, Sir Moore.
Yeah,
okay, that concludes the list of financial producers for this episode and last episode. Thank you for being patient. And remember, it's the only reason we exist is because of producers like you, people who get value, putting value back in. If you haven't ever done it, go ahead, go to canarycry.support and get your D-mooching, baby.
Yeah. Let's thank some producers coming in. First off, with a speak pipe here. I think we got one speak pipe. Let's do that.
Okay.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Any page actually related to the Canary Cry News Talk website. You'll see a green tab on the right side or the bottom. If you click on it, it'll pop up a little window where you can record a audio message to us of up to 90 seconds, and we will play it if it is appropriate. And do let us know if it is a private message at the beginning so that we can address it appropriately. We have a message here from Dave Huns. Interesting message. Dave's back.
Guys, this message is for the Spice Man, Basil. Anyways, is anyways more directions than anyway? I don't think so. It's singular anyway. And whoopsie daisies. You can't whoopsie more than one daisy at a time. It's impossible. The expression is whoopsie daisy, not whoopsie daisy. You can't whoopsie more than one daisy at a time. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad to be educated by my elders. Thank you very much, Dave, you silly goose.
I do notice you say whoopsie daisies, plural.
Yeah. Well, I'm very talented. I can whoopsie many daisies. I have and I will. And I can share with you the secrets of whoopsieing many daisies on my online course for $333. Sign up today, and I will teach you the secrets of whoopsieing many daisies.
Okay. Thanks. Some producers come in with the art. Let's do music first.
Audio production.
Throwing me off, man. Throwing me off. Oh, by the way, thank you to Brenton JB for the prayer once again at the top of the show. Appreciate that. And we have a couple submissions here of audio production. We're going to kick it off with Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
I believe there's a couple of them from last episode for Jonathan F., so we'll catch up on that. First off, let's see. We have a fulfilling your desires, Basil, your request to have a John 3:16 jingle, or I don't know what it is. So here it is.
Mission 316.
Oh, Mission 316. That's
Yay.
Yeah, there it is. There's your Mission 316.
Yay. Thank you very much. Nice. We owe a couple people that. We'll give it to them next episode.
Yeah. Okay. We also have Jonathan F. coming in with a shortened version of Bow Down for Verification jingle.
And you must bow down to the orb.
I like it.
That's
snappier,
good. That's
much snappier.
Short and sweet and perfect. Thank you very much.
Great. One more, and I believe this is another Bow Down to the Orb version.
Bow down to the orb.
They're both good.
That's very good too.
Both good,
yes.
So well done, Jonathan F. And our arsenal of jingles for WorldCoin continues to grow. And we'll see how that whole thing happens. We'll hopefully get some boots on the ground reports about the orb. But there you go. Thank you very much, Jonathan F. Next up, we have Lil Owen. Lil Owen coming in with a track here. He never leaves a note, which I think is okay. Let the music speak for itself. Here's a few seconds of it. Revelation 13, 1 through 3. By the way. I want to hear his sweet voice before I turn it down. Where are you, Lil Owen? We'll play that whole track at the end.
Sick. Here. Thank you very much, Lil Owen.
It's like the best way to hear scripture, through Canary Cry producers. There you go. That's the audio production. Thank you very much for that. We're going to move on to art.
One art, please.
And we'll kick it off with Sir Dove, Knight of Raspeltia. Sir Dove, where are you? Where are you, Sir Dove? Oh, no. Where's my Sir Dove? There you go.
One art, please, from Dove.
And Dove has a note. This one was for episode 652. And I think we'll just stick with one at a time for Dove here. Just give a little cushion with the new baby. And the note reads, Peace. For this week's Bible artwork, I did an illustration for 1 Corinthians 9:9. For it is written in the law of Moses, do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. It is it about oxen that God is concerned? Isn't he actually speaking on our behalf? Indeed, this was written for us because when the plowman plows and the thresher threshes, they should also expect to share in the harvest. Value for value in the Bible. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do and I'll keep praying for yins.
Yeah, that's great. We should write that one down there. We should, because value for value pops up in the Bible so often. And it goes against modern sensibilities, even for, Bible-professing Christians who have been captured by the Christo-capitalism that was created in the mid-20th century.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yes, and we've got this awesome piece of art here. We got some trees in the background, big, lush trees with an adorable Sir Dove animated or illustrated oxen at the front. It says, "Don't muzzle an ox" up at the top. That's great. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. Yeah, and this ox has a little, what is that, wheat or something?
His mouth, he's chewing a cud.
Chewing a cud?
He's chewing the cud he deserves.
All right. Thank you. Yes,
that could be our new thing. Value for value. Give us your cud. These oxen are hungry, baby. All right.
Okay, interesting.
Thank you, Sir Dove.
All right, thank you, Sir Dove. All right, next up we have Exit to the Light Zine, or ETTL Zine. We've seen him around.
Yeah. Exit to the Light Zine.
A note here. Greetings. Big thanks, Basil Gons, and to all the listeners. Hope humor is found here. Blessings to you and yours. God bless. ETTL Zine. Do you see the piece here?
Yeah, I've got it. Exit to the Light Zine made a little comic strip here. That's very fun. Is in regards to Commander.
Yes,
the Biden's dog attacking all the Secret Service. Starts out here with a CIA guy listening to something in his earpiece, and then he points in the next frame. He says, "Copy that." And then a couple of CIA goons are coming to snag up Commander, the Biden's dog. And it says the CIA goons rip the muzzle off of Commander's face as he's shackled. And we've got Commander. He's got shackles on his hands and legs, and he's going absolutely bonkers. "Any last words?" says the CIA goon as they're holding up a C-19. I think they're going to vaccinate Commander.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to vaccinate Commander.
Yeah, it's a needle, a vaccine. Why am I blanking?
A syringe with
thank you. Syringe.
Droplet coming out of it with a skull on it, of course.
Yes.
And the last cell here says, "Before Commander is injected with the cure and tries to take one last munch of CIA goon. Lucifer made his choice, and so have I. If I could bite again, I would." This is a Commander, I think. "Not all dogs go to heaven. Old Yeller." Ooh, thank you very much, Exit to the Light Zine. I wonder if there's a Exit to the Light Zine publication that we need to check out.
I like the theory that Commander's actually,
he's a good
guy, and he's just protecting himself.
He's fighting for the country. Commander is fighting for all
Joe's
of us.
not doing it, so Commander's the actual hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to, vaccinate him to keep him docile. That's a good point. Thank you very much, Exit to the Light Zine.
Thank you, Exit to the Light Zine. All right. Last thing here from the art production. We have a couple things from Lloyd V. Lloyd V is back. Dear Basil and Gons, here's a couple of videos I found in Gons' private VHS collection. I don't know how you got into that box, Lloyd V. I have it stashed away pretty good, but apparently he has agents that come in and do stuff like that. It was in a cardboard box sitting in the middle of the road. Oh, I don't know. I must have lost it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It must have fallen off the truck when he was moving his stuff to his new home. God bless Lloyd V. P.S. Basil was right. To make these deep fakes, I'm using an AI-powered app. Yes. And first one here, it's a man with, what are these, nunchucks or something? But it's me. It's me with nunchucks. I mean, I'm sorry. I downplay it. Here it is. For those of you watching, great. For those of you listening, there are things happening visually. Oh yeah, I forgot how good I was with two nunchucks.
You're very good at nunchucks.
I think,
very talented. It's in your blood.
Yeah, I thought that video was gone, but he found another one here. Found my old WWE tapes. I'm
very funny. Just a humongous Gons wrestler. I don't know anything about who this real wrestler is, but this is very impressive Gons. Oh, back in the day, after your professional swimming, you were in the Worldwide Wrestling League.
I try not to show these images.
Federation.
I'm trying to bring up these images.
Does it make you miss your youth?
A little bit, yeah. I wish I need those pecs again, just like the
we all need those pecs chest.
Again. Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Lloyd V. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
What are you getting? You're getting
our deep fake champion. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay. I think we got some microfictions here.
We do indeed.
Microfiction. Microfiction.
Runk Smash has the first one here.
Runk Smash.
He raises the mask and enters, but gasps when he sees the hulking reptilian cyborg eating sand like a delicacy. Maintaining his composure, he steps in. The beast hasn't noticed his deception. He has no choice. It begins to spin, heading for his target. That's right. Bill Gates, infamous sand-eating reptilian. That's like a boss battle. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash. Next up, Stefan S. with his microfiction.
Boss, Caribou Biosciences has agreed to buy out at $5.25 per share. Huge Pharma's CEO Brandon Lancet was pleased, but with a vertical wink of his eye and a twist of his head, tell them no lower than 533.
Yeah, vertical winks give it away.
Yeah, in regards to Pfizer purchasing Caribou CRISPR company, CRISPR allogenic cell therapy.
Right.
Thank you very much, Stefan S.
Stefan S. I almost said Runk Smash. Thank you, Stefan S. Appreciate it. That's it for the production side, the talent side of the producerships. And it helps us build the culture behind the community here. And as you see, that we have a lot of talented people sharing their talent and making content for the show. So there you go. I think people should share some of this content out on social media more. It's like made for social media, but
yeah, we need to get it out on social media more. We have a hiccup right now in our social media system. So if anybody out there wants to help run some social media posts for us, let us know and get that all cranked up again.
Yeah. We are pretty short on time. And I know we're not really supposed to say that while we're talking on air.
No, I know. We hear that people don't like hearing that. No.
So is it okay if we just touch this article real quick and we don't have to do a deep dive on it? But
no, that's fine. Let's just run through it. Yeah.
Nephilim update.
Well, according to the BBC, plan for biggest Nessie search in more than 50 years. That's right, the Loch Ness Monster. They're gonna find that buoy or whatever it was. Drones fitted with infrared cameras are to be flown over the loch, and a hydrophone is to be used to detect unusual underwater sounds. Organizers said volunteers would also look for possible signs of a creature from safe vantage points on land. The search is to be held 26th and 27th of August. So this is being described as the biggest search for Loch Ness Monster since the 1970s. And they're going to do it. They're going to, I'm surprised that it took this long to do, like a full surveillance type of thing for Nessie. I mean, don't you think the Nessie from back then is like dead? Or maybe they live a long time.
Yeah. I think the idea is that the Loch Ness Monster was like thousands of years old or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's
Leviathan. It's Leviathan. So if it's Leviathan, it's biblically old and still around.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to need to get down into those nooks and crannies of the underwater tunnels. But this is very interesting. This is obviously an attempt to sort of re-bolster, I think, popularity of Loch Ness.
Maybe they need some tourism.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for 50 young people to join the mission or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, look, I don't know if I count as young. I don't know if I count as young anymore, but I would join. I would go. I don't know. What is it? Does it cost money? Maybe I could go. I was within striking distance of Loch Ness in the past couple of years, and I thought about going, but which is a pain in the butt. But who knows? Maybe I should sign up.
You should. I think you can.
How do I go? How do I do this?
You know what happened? The town. What's the town this is in? I forget.
I forget.
We should probably know that, but what are you gonna do?
The Loch Ness Center's in Drumnatrochit.
That's why nobody knows it.
Scottish word. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Sorry, Scotland.
They probably saw all the UFO talks and aliens in the backyard, and they're like, "All right, it's time. Bust it out. We need to Nessie 2.0, baby. Let's get people on it."
Timing is everything. Yes, now is the time to strike and get more people to go to Loch Ness. Scotland is maybe the most beautiful place on earth, so it's worth a thing going. I have a feeling if I go join the crew that I'm going to be surrounded by like 19-year-olds or something. That's going to be a little mind-numbing in a way. Not that all 19-year-olds are mind-numbing, but I think maybe the ones who would be going to look for a Loch Ness for social media clout might be a little bit mind-numbing. But maybe that's just the thing we need, Gons. We've been looking for ways to, reach the younger population, to grow the podcast. And if I have to go up to Loch Ness and find Nessie myself, just to get people to listen to my podcast, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take the hit for that, Gons.
Well, good. You can bring your horn too.
Bring my horn. I don't know what that
means. The young people will love you.
They love the air horn. That's true. And maybe the Loch Ness Monster loves the air horn.
Oh, that'd be
like
hilarious. You can do the prank where the Loch Ness Monster comes out of the water and does the horn.
Did you read this quote? It's our hope to inspire a new generation of Loch Ness enthusiasts by joining this large-scale surface watch. Come on. We're going to need to do more than a surface watch. We have a real opportunity to personally contribute towards this fascinating mystery that has captivated so many people. I will say, Loch Ness is absolutely enormous. It's way bigger than I thought it was. So you're gonna need a lot of people for that. But I got good eyes. I could help out. I could do it. And if I'm up there, I'll probably have to podcast from the shores of Loch Ness, or else I'll be missing shows. Be up there for quite some time. So I could get my little headset on, hook up to my hotspot, and just do the news from the shores of Loch Ness. It's not quite podcasting from Antarctica, but I think it's pretty close.
It's getting there.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Friday, so tune in with us if you would. I want to thank a couple of different groups of producers who help us out, starting with the Clippies. Clippy on those videos. Thanks. Yeah, go follow the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey. Please go check it out. It's this show. It's all clipped out, shorter segments. It's beautiful. Canary Cry Clips. And thank you to the Clippies. And that's possible because of the timestampers.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
I keep forgetting to say this. We need, so Jade Bouncerson did the timestamps for episode 652. We need another timestamper. We need a producer to help out with timestamps. So if you're out there, you've been wondering how you can get involved, looking for something easy but very important to become a part of the family here, help out the show, you should help timestamp. Help Jade Bouncerson timestamp. We had a timestamper who needs to take a leave of absence. So please send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com if you'd like to get involved. It's a very simple job. And if you're watching or listening to the show anyways, especially live, it's incredibly
Anyway, Basil, it's not anyways.
Oopsie daisies. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson.
Yes,
thank you to Jam for the links.
Yep.
Thank you to Clank for being...
Andre V, James M, Sir Ike, and Clank all submitting articles. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. They went to canarycry.report, and submitted articles for us to look at. Thank you. Thank you, Clank, for everything you do. And other than that, share the show. Share the show with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends' family and your family's friends. Share it with as many people as you possibly can, because the time is now. Strike while the iron is hot. There's no time like the present to share the most important podcast in the world. And, you can do that any normal way. Post it on social media, tell word of mouth, stuff like that. Send a link to your friends. That's all very important stuff to do. But you can also, some people want to do it in a way that's very unique, that expresses their talents that the Lord has given them. And there's a lot of ways that you can do that. For instance, don't do what Extinction Rebellion does and set chemical factories on fire and try to pollute the air in order to save the world. But what you should be doing is blasting this podcast out on gigantic 40-foot speakers. Go out into the wilderness, set up a giant wall of speakers like the Grateful Dead did in 1970, and just start blasting this podcast out. The sounds will go out upon the airwaves. It will flow through the winds. It will counteract. I've seen the studies on this. If you play Canary Cry News Talk loud enough into the sky, it will actually counteract the HARP vibrations in the ionosphere and save somebody from an earthquake or a hurricane or something. In fact, it'll counteract a lot of principalities of the air. We just need someone with the will to put together a giant wall of speakers, again, like the Grateful Dead did in 1970, and blast this podcast out across the world. That's one thing you can do to help us out. You don't have to do it that way, but we recommend it. It's all part of rattling cages, folks, and if you need more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
We made it. We made it through Wednesday. We will see you again
Yeehaw.
Friday. Hope you guys have a great couple days, and we'll be back.
That's right. Thank you very much, everybody. All right. You're listening. You're done. You finished. You listened to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I need a reset.
I love the Great Reset.
This is the way. Armageddon's on the way.
Feed him more. Toilets! Toilets! Toilets!
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopath. Give me a break.
Uh-oh. That didn't go well.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Right.
news of the day gets to feeling like a maze. It's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on, to head my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry awaits. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary, cry awaits. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on, I have my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cry, that's support.